Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is the recording for skills at the rate 100 where for 100 days we are bringing for you 100 different speakers from all over the country. The speaker is CEO Uttam Jain and we have learned about detailed LFAR reports, how we can convert them into value reports. So now, what are we waiting for? Let's go.
Story. The, you'll agree that eagle has the longest lifespan among birds, and the lifespan, if it is there, it is 70 years. But to reach these 70 years, the eagle must make a hard decision, and according to me, it is not a hard decision; it is a harsh decision which it has to taken, because it has to go through something which has to a very difficult decision which it has to take. In its 40, its long, flexible talons can no longer grab the prey, which serves as the food. In other words, the legs of the eagle are the main source of prey catching. It can carry heavy weight out of that particular talons, but then वो जो nails बढ़ जाते हैं उसके कारण you are not able to catch the prey. So that is the problem in its 40s. Its long beak becomes bent, and that's how it also has an issue, because the smaller prey also it cannot take it out. And as the age goes by, the feathers also grow thicker, and it catches the wings and the heart, so that it becomes very difficult to fly high, and eagles always fly very high. Then what is left with eagle? It has only two decisions available, two options available. One, to die or go through the pain of process of change, which lasts 150 days. We are also in a very similar situation. We also have to go for a change. Maybe for us, it is not 40 years. It is every now and then which has happened, and we have to go for that change. And for the eagle, it is 150 days which it has to go through. The process requires the eagle to go to a mountain and stay on its nest. So जैसे ही वो nest पे जाके खड़ा होगा, तो there is a problem there. What is that? It will not have the food. It will not have water. So literally, it has to go without food, without water for 150 days. Then it has to hit the rock very hard with its beak, so that the beaks will fall out and the new beak will grow. When the beak falls out, there will be a lot of pain. Blood will flow out, and that's the pain it has to go through. And with the new grown beak, then it has to plug out its talon, that is the nails on its legs. It has to be removed, and the beak is weak. The beak may again start bleeding. The nails will again bleed. It has to go through that pain, and thereafter it has to remove the feathers which are hitting its back, the wings, the heart, everything. It has to remove the feathers, and it has to make itself live. And once it is light, it goes for another rebirth and lives for another 30 years. What do we learn from this? Many times, in order to survive, we have to start a change process. And that change process, as far as chartered accountants are concerned, it is on a regular basis. We sometimes need to get rid of old memories, habits, other old tradition, past traditions, so that we can do new, because the advent of AI, the advent of technology, the way in the data are stored, everything has to go. So we have to get rid of the old habit of saying that nahi main to aise hi dekhunga. That has to go. Only freed from past burdens, we can take advantage of the present, because the technology is going to help you to come out, do very good audits. So according to me, these are the four activities. Any activities can be broken up into these four parameters: source, destination, path, and documentation. जैसे भी audit करेंगे, you have the source, you have the destination, you have the path, and you have to create the documentation, because 2026 and December 2026, all from the next year 27, 1st January 27, all the entities which are eager to do any bank audit should be peer reviewed. And when we say it has to be peer reviewed, then you have to produce the document saying that you have done an audit perfectly as per the requirement of the essays, so on and so forth. Everything has to be documented. And please remember, when you are in bank, only for those 5, 6, 7 days where you are in the bank, you are what we call Bean Raja, where you will be called for will be given all kind of respect. And once that audit report is signed, फिर आप कौन है? That's the question they will say. None of the documents they will be able to share. They will not even entertain you to get inside. So what is the starting point of the activity of, say, LFRA? What is the starting point? Is it the source? You can put in the chat box. Is it the source? Is it the destination? Is it the path? Or is it the documentation? Just quickly put it on in the chat box so that we can proceed quickly. What is the starting point as far as LFAR is concerned? Source, input, that is the source, input. That's the answer which I am getting. But I'm sorry, that is the wrong answer, because what is the start point is the destination. क्या होता है कि when if you don't read the final, what is the requirement which has to be given to the banker in our report, whether it is tax audit report, whether it is a LFAR, whether it is a TP study report, whatever report we are going to file, our destination should be the starting point. It's like we traveling to Guwahati. If we are going to Guwahati, the destination will decide which mode of transport, what is the way in which we go, how many days it will require, so on and so forth. So in a LFAR, or as far as bank audit is concerned, the starting point will be the destination. So if it is bank audit, what we have to go through is we should be along with us when we go for the bank audit. We should take the guidance note with us. Soft copy is available now. It has been launched only 2 days back. I am sorry, I will not be able to update my PowerPoint based on this. So maybe I have updated few slides, but not all the slides based on the guidance note on Bank Audit 2026. It is available on the website, freely downloadable, and you have to carry on that. Whenever you are going to do any audit, first we should be aware of what are the regulatory framework under which we are doing the audit. As far as bank and banking companies are concerned, the regulatory framework are Banking Regulation Act 1949, SARFAESI, and the PMLA, IBC, FEMA, and Negotiable Instrument Act, because these are relevant for bank. SARFAESI Act, they may do it for the purpose of recovery, PMLA, money laundering, because it is again linked to KYC, IBC, insolvency. In that scenario, also there is relevance. FEMA, they are the authorized dealer. So again, Negotiable Instrument Act, all the checks which are issued, demand draft, documents, and so on and so forth. Reserve Bank of India, 1934 Act is also relevant, along with the RBI Master Directions, circulars, and notifications. They are both go hand in glove, and these are relevant for the entire bank audit which you are going to do. Because the Companies Act, they are also registered under Companies Act. That Companies Act relevance is also there. The SEBI also may come into picture wherever the entities are listed on the stock exchange. Today, almost all the banks, public sector or private, are listed on the bank. So everything has to be looked into. So it's a long process which you have to go through. What are the relevant risks which are there? The risks which are there relating to business are the credit risk, market risk, liquidity risk, operational risk. And when you're doing the audit for 2026 March, this is the bigger risk because of the war which is going around, the effect on the credit which has been given, the exposure which the bank has, all that will be relevant for the audit which we do. Then we have the technology risk. The technology risk is the updation, the cyber security which is there, because they are subject to all kind of security which they have to carry on. Area which have manual processes and intervention, and because one of the point in the LFAR are relevant to this particular questions which we have. And then there are some manual processes, like for example, the stock statement taking, so on and so forth, which are all manual, and the manual intervention happens particularly when they key in the stock statement for the drawing power to be determined. Then you have the regulatory RBI and other regulators finding up findings and follow-ups related thereto. If you see, there are a lot of penalties levied by RBI on certain parameters. Take for example, a private sector bank was levied around 96 lakhs of penalty for non-compliance with the KYC on opening of the loans or loan accounts or SB accounts, so on and so forth. Changes in legislation and government policies. The government comes out with policies saying that this particular sector has to be given loan, like there are some Manrega loans, so on and so forth. Then you have the other risk, which are risk of fraud, revenue leakage, use of external service organizations. And then the residual risk based on banks, environment, physical as well as technological. These are the areas of audit where you have banking company. The core is advances and IRAC norms. Advances becomes the core, and for that advances, what is relevant is again deposits. So deposit is the source, advances is the asset on which the entire income of the banking industry happens. So you have investments which majoritarily, when you do the branch audit, may not be relevant. Revenue recognition, again, whether revenue has been recognized as per norms, whether all the collectibles have been collected, like processing fees, recovery of the verification, stock audit, so on and so forth. Deposit, whether the deposit is as per the norms. There could be some lacuna in as far as deposit concerned, where the TDS amount on the interest on deposit would have been remitted to the government, whereas the interest is not due as on date. I'll repeat, as on 31st March 26, the FD interest has accrued. As the FD interest has accrued, the TDS has to be deducted and remitted to the government. Now, what is the TDS which is remitted to the government should be collected from the depositor, because as on the date of 31st March, this amount is accrued but not due. So it need not be paid. If it is paid in advance, there's a leakage which is happening. In other words, I am paying escalated interest, though the interest rate will be lesser. So these are the lacunas which may happen in certain banks. Off balance sheet item are like LCs, LGs which are open. What are the LCs which have been closed should also be closed because it is a contingent liability. GITC, General Information Technology Control, and the Information Technology Access Control. These two are again very, very relevant. You have to find out whether there are controls in place, because you are also going to give internal financial control report. So that is another issue which is there. Then the employee benefits. These employee benefits may not be relevant at the branch level because the benefits all are accounted at the head office level. RBI inspection finding. If there are any inspection findings by the RBI, then in that scenario, it will become very, very relevant for you to look at it. Okay, there's a query saying that on deposit part, again, explain. As far as deposits are concerned, for example, I have taken a deposit in the month of January and it is a 3-year deposit, or I have taken in the month of January 2025. It's a 3-year deposit. So for 25-26, the interest is accrued for the deposit of say 1 lakh, and it is say 7.5%, or 10 lakhs, 7.5%. So it's 75,000 is my interest accrued, and I would have passed the entry for the interest accrued, debiting interest and creating interest due, interest accrued but not due. Now, out of that interest accrued by not due, 7,500 I should deduct and remit it to the government. So this 7,500, I would have passed the entry. Each banking company passes the entry differently. In case it is done and put into TDS payable ledger, then this should have been recovered from the SB account or current account of the said depositor. And if it is not done, that means I have paid interest in advance, which I should not have paid. That is the crux of what I have said earlier. Hope this is clear now. Use of technology is relevant, but the use of technology has brought major change, major change. The way the banking industries have moved from what it was in say 90s or 2000 or early 2000 and what it is today. Nevertheless, the fundamentals are same. The trust and confidence of people of the institution remains the same, which comes on the back of strong quality of audit system, internal control, and the practices in place. So that is the relevance of bank audit. It has to be taken very seriously. What computerization cannot do, the appraisal of borrower, document execution, verification, security evaluation, existence of that security, whether it is there in that place or not. That is the post dispersal, pre-dispersal inspection, interpretation of business performance. May the technology can help you in this, but it cannot do it for itself. Post reconciliation, where I do a reconciliation by passing some dummy entries, justification of direct general ledger postings, commenting system controls, and trying to do what the system doesn't allow me to do. Now we are going to get into the core area. Kindly remember that SA 700, 701, 705, 706, 720, all are relevant. That is a matter of emphasis, qualifying your report, audit report format, so on and so forth. Emphasis of matter, all these are relevant and it should be independent auditor's report. Kindly remember from financial year 23-24, audit trail reporting is also compulsory. When you are going to go to the branch and do the audit, at that time they are giving you a ready-made uh, report online format where you cannot change anything out of it. Only a small box will be given where you can key in. So you have to write in such a way precisely what you have to bring. For example, audit trail. Audit trail, whether the backup is taken, whether the audit trail is available, not available, sitting in a branch, you will not be able to do. So you should qualify on that particular concept. Audit of internal financial control is also as required under the Companies Act and as per RBI communication. So that also, it is not possible to do. You have to say that there are limitations due to access which you have, and you will not be able to do it. And then you have something called annual certification as required by RBI as per the appointment. That is a limited assurance which you are going to give, and the reasoning also you have to give. When it comes to certification, like for that interest, subvention interest, normally what they will say is, sir, this is all filled up, this system generated, please sign. Please ask for the breakup of the calculation, because without a breakup, you will not be able to verify, and without verifying, you should not attest. In case you say that you are not getting this information, then you should qualify saying that it has not been provided for, hence you cannot vouch for the correctness of the information given. Reporting on mechanism of identification and remediation of weaknesses observed in critical process. This has to be detailed reporting from financial year 23-24. This is what is the RBI communication dated 8th July 2022 says that if there are critical observations or weaknesses which you find, you have to report in detail. LFAR has to be provided by the statutory auditors, that is the statutory branch auditors. Other certification attestation as by RBI and other regulatory requirements have to be given. Now, what are the key objectives? The key objectives are integrities of figures. The financial statements have the clear figures. The returns have clear and correct figures. If you are not able to look at it, please qualify in your certification as well. IRACNAM classification and provisioning, that also the integrity has to be looked into. Invariably, these are controlled by the regional office. Inadequacies are in the internal control or internal system. LFAR, you have to say what are the branch powers, whether the branch powers has been exceeded, whether you have come across any frauds, whether all the returns have been filed by the branch to the head office. Invariably, now these are all automated. Fraud indicators if you have come across. this normally what is when it has come, it has been revised on 2022, 5/9/2022, and now it is over and above the statutory report. It is not a substitute. So if you say that I have given an LFAR and hence I have not reported in the main report, I have not qualified, will not suffice. You have to do it. It has to be submitted to the management and copied to the central statutory auditors. It's a detailed questionnaire, but that doesn't mean it's like an MCQ. Yes, no, not applicable. No, it is not. You have to give a reasoning for every question which are raised there. This was revised. Why? Because there were large scale changes, the size of the branches have increased, the complexities of the transactions have gone up, the different business models have come, the risk have invariably increased, banking operations are changed. So in consultation with stakeholders, including ICI, this was revised. These are the revised LFAR, Annexure 1, Annexure 2, Annexure Appendix to Annexure 2, and Appendix 3, Annexure 3. The mandate and scope of is a revised format. The central statutory auditors they can change the LFAR because whatever is given is only illustrative. If they want, they can make changes. Any material changes, addition, deletion, they can do. But whatever they do, they have to give justification, and it should be with the prior intimation of the audit committee board. What is the RBI advice on LFAR? Ensure that it is timely given, timely received by the bank, because they can only give the advice to the bank. So they said banks have to ensure that timely receipt LFAR of a bank after due examination. They have to place before the audit committee or the local advisory board. That is the LFAR, which is compiled by the central statutory auditors, and then they have to give what is the action taken or proposed to be taken, and if there is any rectification done, that has to be reported, and what are the irregularities as per the LFAR, and the copy of that each LFAR and relative agenda note, along with board's view and directions, should be forwarded to the senior supervisory manager, RBI Department of Supervision, within 60 days of the submission of the LFAR by statutory auditors. So invariably, this is done by 30th June of the subsequent year. Instruction issued, which was earlier, has now got repealed. If you think that it is a more responsibility, yes, the language used in the LFAR does show that, and it is a format designed by RBI, and these are the annexures, which are all theory. Let's proceed further. If you see the number of frauds which I've got, now just see on the right side, 2024, April, September, 18,000 cases, 16,569 crores. And now, September 25-26, the number of cases have come down, but the volume of cases have gone up. So these are the level at which this is happening, and majority of them are in advances now. On the date of occurrence, there are a number of cases which are going up. The amount involved have come down. On the date of occurrence, it has come down invariably, but it is increasing. What is the enforcement actions taken? Total enforcement action taken is increasing. So the RBI and the bankers have become very active in seeing that actions are taken. What is fraud? This may be considered to be a fraud. Finding the red flag, heavy check purchase or heavy check discounting, review or regular sanction, ad hoc sanctions, or it can be illegitimate transaction which is done, analyze of abnormality, point of security, whether the security is taken later, whether security is available or not, the risk-based relevant to the security, understanding with the management and discuss, remove and misunderstanding, and document whatever findings you have done, collect all evidences so that it will help you to report as well as safeguard yourself in case of any wrongdoing in the type of banks. It is designed to focus systems issue. Whenever you see LFAR, it is all process and risk related questions, and it is covering the entire banking part. Kindly note, LFAR not part of the main report. Matters to be reported are illustrative, not exhaustive. In case you are coming across certain things, then it has to be given in the miscellaneous portion of the LFAR. LFAR may impact main report, so be careful about it. If it is impacting main report, do it and report in your main report. Highlight adverse comment. In case it is required, you can separately shoot a mail to the central statutory auditors or call them and talk to them. Please document whatever you are talking to the central statutory auditors and bring it to their notice. Highlight adverse comments in the LFAR main report. Also, you refer to the LFAR adverse comments, and kindly note whatever you are going to report in LFAR is going to show what is the effort which you have put in doing the bank audit. Because in the main report, nothing is going to come. Whatever you are going to write in LFAR, and that is only going to tell you how much effort you have put in to continue and complete your work, and your professional competency has come out. Please note, it is not a question and answer book where you say it is yes, no, not applicable. LFAR, it's a total health checkup of the entire bank branch because it covers balance sheet, assets, liability, profit loss account, and including the general areas which are not part of your profit loss account or balance sheet or off balance sheet items. They are also covered in LFAR. For example, in your general areas, it will be talking about gold, bullion, security items. Gold, bullion may not be there now because many of the branches are not selling gold bullion, nor they are selling coins. But security items is very relevant. Say for certain banks, the check goes to the account holder's address. If the account holder is not present at his home, it is returned and it goes to the branch. And the branch has a policy, should be having a policy saying that how they are going to store this, how they are going to record this. Certain banks have a policy of saying after 20 days, if it is not collected within 20 days, then it should be destroyed. Number one. Number two, when the checkbooks are returned to the, or even credit cards or debit cards are returned to the branch should have one register. Invariably, in public sector banks, there will be no automation of this particular portion. In a private sector banks, these are automated. And then when they are issued to the customers, where they are taking the register, how it is captured. It just walk through. When you do it, you will find the errors. Take for example, they'll say, yes, this checkbook came to me on this date. This is the account holder's name. This is the account number, and this is the date on which it was handed over. This is the ID which I have taken at that point of time. Invariably, they will write only Aadhaar. Aadhaar writing is not correct. They should have noted down some number out of the Aadhaar. Invariably, they should have asked for alternate also. They should have noted down at least 4 digit of the Aadhaar, last 4 digit of the number. If they have not noted down, this can be a lacuna. You may say that they are having the KYC. From there itself, they would have noted down. All that is okay. But then at least they should have noted down something. But writing only Aadhaar or only DL or only PAN card is not enough according to me in that register. So these kind of general area issues may come up. And books and records kept, because they are supposed to print certain records on a daily basis. What is that? Payment register and receipt register, both they have to maintain on a daily basis. Invariably, they may not be doing that. Interbranch account is another general area because interbranch account may not have any impact. So interbranch account is another area where we have to see whether they are closed within time. Fraud, is another area which is there in LFAR, which we have to just go through. We may not detect fraud, but if it has come to our knowledge, it has to be done. Implementation of the KYC norms, AML, anti-money laundering norms, KYC, AML guidelines, that has to be seen. So we do a test check, taking 10 or 5 accounts and see the KYC whether it has been implemented. MIS, invariably now it may not be relevant because it's all automated. And then they have a general residuary clause, say miscellaneous. Take for example 15G, 15H they collect. What is that they have to do? If they collect 15G, 15H, within 7 days from the end of the month in which they collect, they are supposed to file it before the Commissioner of Income Tax. But invariably this is not done. It may be centralized, but the forms may be lying at the branch. Then how the head office or the regional office will file all those miscellaneous, it has to be brought out. Then you have the foreign branch specialized branches. Revised LFAR is applicable to even foreign branches. The objective, strategy, scope, and coverage of branch is laid down in that LFAR. Overall objective is the transaction testing. Provide your inputs, what is relevant there, and it goes to central statutory auditors for advocacy, implementation of various policies of the branch, of the bank, and the regulatory requirement of RBI, which is done at the branch, including risk management, compliance, internal audit at the branch level. LFAR is a tool to the central statutory auditors because they are going to compile this and then present it. Invariably, what I listen whenever I go and do a speaking assignment is who reads. It is not relevant that who reads. It is what relevant is what we have done, and to our satisfaction, we should do it. What others are going to do, we are not relevant for us. It becomes a tool for the incoming auditor as well, and it is a tool for planning your entire audit program. And it's a tool to the regulator and the top management of the bank to see that what are the lacuna which are there, how it can be cemented and risk can be mitigated. It's a tool for completing the audit as well. Because you know the entire place, how it has to be done. So it is a tool to complete the entire audit. It is also a self-appraisal of the auditor, where when I am going to look at my audit report later on, I'll see that yes, I have done the work, and where is my weakness also will be known. This we will try to skip. Please note, there is no opinion in LFAR. It is only the factual findings which you have to bring it to the notice of the reader. It should contain elaboration on the basis for any opinion which you want to give, but there is no opinion. But then if you are going to give some opinion, then elaboration of the basis for opinion has to be given. Wherever there are changes in MOC, that is memorandum of changes, if you are going to refer to, then for that reasoning has to be given here, because in MOC you don't have space to give the reasoning. For example, I give an MOC which has no impact per se, but then I have to give a MOC because rent was wrongly debited to office expenses. So from office expenses, I have to move it to rent. So there is one debit, one credit, no impact, the net profit is same. Then for that, I have to give a reasoning in my LFAR why I have recommended a MOC. Whenever you are giving anything in LFAR, it is advisable to discuss with the management and document what they are trying to tell, and also include that in your LFAR. Kindly note, only material points have to be brought to the notice, not saying that it is not kept clean, all that. That is not relevant. You have to bring material points in the LFAR. Internal control weaknesses, which can lead to fraud, are to be reported, and it has to be highlighted as well. These are the illustrative in the guidance note. Illustrative audit report. The most important one is the last one, return representation letter, management representation letter. Invariably, wherever I go to speak, they say the branch manager is reluctant to give. If you put your foot very, very strongly saying that मैं आपको ऑडिट रिपोर्ट साइन करके नहीं दूंगा तब तक ये आपको ये मुझे नहीं देंगे, they will go to the regional office, The regional will say sort out at your level, he will sign and give you. But you should get, and if you are not getting it, then you should document that you have made the effort to bring it. And then you may have to get more letters from them to have your documentation done. SA 700 you should be aware of. You should have the illustrative available and then you have to provide accordingly. We should be aware of all these essays because these all are relevant. When the peer review is going to happen, the peer reviewer will look into it whether you have done the audit based on these essays. Particularly your risk of material misstatement, understanding the entity, its environment. So what is the branch? What is the major advances they give? What is the source of their income? That has to be looked into and the risk relating thereto. There's some dilemma which is there. One of the questions in LFAR is whether the branch is fully automated. And if they are having third-party software, whether they are fully integrated with CBS. So how do I know? Sitting in the branch, how do I know it is integrated, not integrated? I have not been in a position to test it. So invariably, you have to say that according to information explanation, to the best of our knowledge, we are not in a position to understand and appreciate this question and give the reasoning. Take, for example, the date on which the stock statements are coming. The date on which the stock statements are updated in the system is never captured anywhere. So how do you know that when it was received? I could punch in the data now and tomorrow I can get the statement with the same value. So unless until it is automated or the data is stamped on the statement which is received, we will not be able to. So hence you have to give the details fully saying that this is the lacuna which is there. What is the process in the exceptional reports are generated? What is the periodicity and what is the prescribed reports which are there? Invariably, they have to take the receipts and payments on a daily basis and other exceptional reports are dumped to the branch manager. So you have to ask him and get the information. Whatever the information he gives, you have to carry in your LFAR with your comment thereon. There's one comment which is required is data integrity. What is the data integrity which you sitting at the branch you will not be able to understand, appreciate and check that and accordingly you have to answer the question. What is that MIS done? MIS is always done at the HO and the central level, not at the branch level. Any other matter which you want to bring to the notice of the management or central statutory auditors, you have to give. This can be a long list, but try to give as much as you can. Like what I discussed about your 15G, 15H and all. Let us get into the first item on LFAR. Some of the items I've already covered. The first question in LFAR is, does the system ensure that cash maintained is in effective control of two or more officials as per the instruction of the controlling authority? Invariably, all the branches, there will be dual control. There will be dual control on cash. There will be a cashier, there will be a chief cashier or accounts manager or branch manager, as the case may be. Always two people. They will use two keys to open the chest. There will be something in the chest and something in the cashier's box. Cashier's box and both will be kept inside and they will have something called cash book. What is cash book as per banking norms? Can you put in the chat box? What is cash book as per the banking norms? Quickly. As per banking industry, what is cash book? What do you mean by physical cash? How the cash book looks like? Normally, in accounts, we say cash book is a book which captures all receipts and all payments made in cash. However, as per banking industry, cash book is not that. They have separate receipt register, receipt payment register, and cash book is what is the amount lying in the chest. That is what the denomination of 500 100, 200, 10, 20, 50, so on so forth coins. What is that which is there? And they will update it every day evening. End of the day, they will close it, lock it, and go. That is what is cash book. That cash book should have two signatures. That cash book should have been verified by third person in the bank at any point of time during the year. The cash should have been verified by internal auditors. If they are concurrent auditors, it should have been done by concurrent auditors. If there is an RBI inspection, they should have also done it. If there are from other branch also, someone comes and checks. All this we have to verify and find out whether it was there. It's a simple way in which you can do it, but then it has to be done. Have the cash balances at the branch been checked at periodic intervals? That's what I said. ATMs only if it is attached to the branch. In other words, it is under the control of the branch, then only the ATMs will be covered for cash counting. Then the next question is, does the branch generally maintain cash balances which vary significantly from the limits fixed by the controlling authority? Does the figures of the bank balance in the branch books in respect of cash with ATM tally with the amount balance with the respective ATM accounts? The last question is whether the insurance cover available with the branch adequately meets the requirement to cover the cash in hand and cash in transit. Now the third question, C question. Does the branch maintain? So invariably, how we are going to give it? You cannot say for major transaction, majority of the days this were outstanding. Please link that C with D, whether there is a adequate insurance coverage. Suppose I have taken an insurance coverage of 10 lakhs and invariably for say 30 days, I have 30 lakhs. And something happens on the day on which I have 30 lakhs and everything vanishes or everything goes in a fire. In that scenario, how much the insurance company will pay me if I have taken on insurance only of 10 lakhs? I will get only 1/3 of that cover because 30 lakhs I have shared the risk only for 10 lakhs. So if 30 lakhs goes, I will get 1/3 of 10 lakhs, only 3.33 lakhs I'll get. That's the reason the entire question is asked for, and that's how the pro rata will be given. And that's the reason why this question becomes very relevant. And you have to give in more like a table format saying for how many days the cash is maintained over and above the limit. There may be some reasons why I maintain 1 or 2 days. For example, many banks, SBI branches, or some other public sector branches will maintain high cash balance on 4th, 5th, 6th of every month because the pension has to be distributed. Whatever may be the reason, but then still the insurance cover should have been covering the entire thing, including in transit. What is in transit? Fund transferred from my to the chest branch. So cash verification, you have to find a method by which you test dual custody, you test the integrity of the person dealing with the cash, because I may hold 1 crore cash when I'm a cashier. So I am in need of money. In the morning, I take it out. In the evening, I put it back. This integrity also has to be tested. Or I take it for 2 days and give it back. All that issues are there. So the integrity of the person who is in charge of cash has to be also be tested. So I'll not be able to show the sample report, but then the verification method is called surprise verification should be done. You should take cash out of the cash box without looking at the cashier. Take the manager with you, go to the cashier's cabin, take out some cash out of the cash box, put it in an envelope, seal and keep it with the manager. In the evening, the cashier has to come with the shortage. You open the seal now, take out the cash, the shortage and the excess, the shortage and the amount available in the envelope should match. If it is not matching, report. Simpliciter. Investments out. Normally, these are relevant for branches outside India. Within India, invariably these are reflected in HO. However, in certain scenarios, the documents may be lying at the branch. In that scenario, you have to take out that information and verify. And if you find the investment not held in the name of the bank, has to be reported. Large advances, लोकेश भाई कितने बजे तक जा सकते हैं? Insurance copies is shared with the branches. It is not that it is not shared. They have one composite insurance where it will be name of the branch, what is the cash at the branch, cash in transit, all the figures will be mentioned. It is taken holistically. I understand that, but then if you insist upon, it will be given to you. Similarly, what is the balance sanctioned limit for a branch, that is also mentioned. And in case of the soiled notes, there will be a separate policy. Even that has to be stated. There will be a separate policy for soil notes saying if there is a soil note, so much of soil notes, it should be sent to a particular branch. That also has to be looked into. Large advances, there is a definition of large advances. Outstanding in excess of 10% of all fund-based and non-fund-based or 10 crores, whichever is lesser, are to be verified and reported. So if I have total advances of say 100 crores, then 10% of fund and non-fund based, both put together. Because when you see the loan balance file, you will see only the loan which are advanced and given, which is called fund based. There could be LCs, LGs, all that is to be added, and then that specific details are to be looked into and commented. For the balance, you have to go for a sampling technique, and that has to be checked and verified. This is what is the format given in the LFAR itself. What is the account number? So you cannot say that this account number I have not seen later on. The account number, the detail of the account holder, the balance funded, non-funded, everything has to be given in the LFAR itself. Entire information, entire sampling has to be given. What is that they're saying? When you do a sampling, all type of advances, all nature of advances should be covered. All type of loan accounts should be covered. Shortcomings to be reported are relating to credit appraisal, documentation, board sanction review, recovery NPA movement, all that shortcomings, if they are, you have to report. Frequent unreported excesses to be brought out and reported. Frequent excesses allowed also are to be reported, because the branch manager may have powers to give ad hoc advances. If they are given ad hoc advances, that has to be reported. And security creation charge, primary collateral, has to be seen whether it's form CSG1, CSG9 has been filed or not, has to be looked into. Kindly note, guarantee doesn't require registration. Charge created by the operation of law, that also need not be filed separately. Hundi is not a charge and registration not required. You have to be particularly clear on insurance coverage. If there is short insurance, you have to bring it, and also see that the bank's name is mentioned therein. In other words, the lien of the stock, the insurance policy, is in favor of the bank, has to be looked into, and the system of taking the insurance, looking at it. So if there is this has to be done for every sample which you have selected. If you have selected a sample and if they have given the 12-month stock statement, kindly look into the 12-month stock statement and the insurance policy value, and see to it that the stock value as per the statement is covered by that insurance value. Otherwise, if there is short insurance, please report it. End use of funds is another relevant point which has to be looked into and to be seen. Periodical physical verification done by the branch officials, inspectors, have to be looked into it for the securities provided. And if there are consortium and multi-banking facility provided, exchange of information between the the main bank, and the other has to be, they call it lead bank. Lead bank and others have to be looked into. Proper classification, performing, non-performing, has to looked into. In case of stock audit, normally, invariably, the bank itself says that for this bank loan, stock audit has to be done. However, RBI says if the account is an NPA of more than 5 crores, stock audit is mandatory. Similarly, properties as well, collateral, primary as well collateral has to be done. And the list of guarantees also has to be provided. List of LCs has to be provided. Auditor's observation in LFAR must be backed by evidences looked into and documented by you. You cannot rely purely on management representation letter. Management representation letter can only give you a support, but it cannot be relied upon fully. If there are no direct evidences, you have to ask for the evidences, ask for the information with the branch manager. You have to communicate to the branch head and ask him to communicate back to you, so that you can rely on those things instead of management representation letter, which is a holistic document. So letter of guarantee which I've got invoked, devolved on, that has to be reported. List of LC which I've got devolved. List of fund-based, non-fund based which are allowed subsequent to devolvement also has to be reported. So if you read this LFAR relating to advances, it is in depth. Unusual items parked in this suspense sundry account has to be seen, like rental deposit, traveling advance, or any amount given for an asset. Last line item in my slide. Advance given to assets. Asset has come, but it has not been converted into an FA. It has not moved to my FA because I have not got a permission to use it. Take, for example, generator, or some asset would have already been put to use, but still lying in suspense account. Then it has to be moved. MOC will come, it has to be moved, and depreciation also has to be provided. So aging wise, it should not be in excess of 90 days. If it is in excess of 90 days, please report. Items representing fraud in past years may be also lying in. So you have to communicate for them to take action, whether a MOC has to be done or not. लोकेश भाई, कितने देर तक ले सकते हैं?
हाँ सर।
अभी तो है कुछ और स्लाइड्स.
तो देख लेते हैं सर थोड़ा देर ऑडियंस.
Okay. For 5-10 minutes, I'll carry on.
यस सर, यस.
Okay. Suspense sundry accounts. This is also relevant. Your opinion on recoverability has to be looked into, and you have to report. And this is to be done on test check basis. Unusual item. ये सब report automatically बैंक के software से generate होते हैं. Breaking age wise, it will come out. You have to look into it, and then you have to provide if required. Reconciliation of subsidy. These are all automated, but then there are some RTGS SWIFT account reconcile किए बगैर पड़े रहेंगे. ATM के ledgers ऐसे पड़े रहेंगे. There could be something parked in the interbranch account. ECS batch run कर दिया, payment हो गया, but not posted to the respective parties. All that can be there. So those reconciliation has to be looked into. All suspense and clearing accounts should be looked into and verified. Cash in transit ka very simple. In cash in transit, what you have to see is what was the cash which has got transmitted during the year. If the cash transmitted during the year is say 10 lakhs, and my insurance for that during that period is only 5 lakhs, then there's a under insurance. So if there is no transit, no problem. If there is a transit which has gone, in other words, the excess cash has gone from my branch to any other branch or to the chest branch, then that has to be looked into, and accordingly we have to find out if there is a movement which has happened. They would have debited in the cash book, the movement would have gone, and that you have to look into. And if there is something, you have to report it. Hope my clarification is okay. TDS suspense account, there should be nothing in TDS suspense account, because TDS which is deducted for me will never be there, because TDS, any banking transaction, no one deducts TDS. TDS is deducted by the bank on behalf of the parties. It should be recovered then and there. It cannot be in suspense account. It should not be in suspense account. Sorry, stop. Just a minute.
Yes, visible.
Yeah. KYC guidelines, this is a major issue. Please remember, majority of the banks have been penalized for not following the KYC guidelines. So you should have your documentation. It's not that you're going to see all, but then you have to see few samples you have to pick up, and that KYC, if you have found there are errors, please report it. Inoperative accounts are fraud prone. Please generate a report of inoperative accounts. Since when they are inoperative, if you are able to generate that, well and good. If not, at least inoperative accounts are so many. You have to report saying there are so many inoperative accounts. Either you have a policy. So then you have to have a policy saying inoperative accounts, unless until a re-KYC is done, it will not be allowed to operate. Then it is okay if there's a policy. Otherwise, you have to bring it to their notice. Window dressing in deposits, particularly past the date on which you go, up to that date, you have to see what is the movement in deposit. They would have taken the deposit on 30th or 31st or even 27th, last week of March, to attain the target of deposits, and thereafter they may reverse the deposit. Deposit is terminated before maturity, and that is how the window dressing is done. That is what you have to look at it, and you have to ask for the management why there are some large movements at the fag end. There may be genuine, but you have to be having your skepticism and then ask questions on that. Many accounts may be there with negative balances. There are softwares which have now got modified, which does not allow negative balances. For example, I have an SB account, I have a locker. My locker rent is debited to my SB account. They try to recover my locker, they run their software, and my account is getting debited. I have only 100 rupees, locker rent is 200 rupees, so it says minus 100. And then it becomes minus 300. If that kind of a scenario is there, then that revenue which is recognized is wrong, and accordingly you have to report it, saying that it is not a material amount, but then it has to be reported in LFAR, and then you have to say you are not recommending MOC because the amount involved is not material. Similarly, you may come across many issues which are, in case of guidelines, which are there. You have to look at it, and because the time short, I am getting. So sundry accounts more than 1 year. Earlier it was 3 years. Now it is more than 1 year. You obtain, give details thereof. We're just going to give details of all LCs, LGs. You have to give contingent liability. You have to look into it, whether they are provided for the rent. If there are some insurance customer claims are there, they would have noted down in the grievance register, but they have not passed the entry. Then there's a contingent liability which is there. Interest calculation, revenue leakage, you have to do a test check basis. You have to find out what is the policy in case of bill discounting or purchasing of invoices. When I purchase an invoice, what is the policy I do? I made discount. It's nothing but interest. I calculate interest, and that is how I do the discounting. I may do a discounting taking some buffer, because I may feel that there is a delay which may come. Take for example, I have an invoice which is supplied to a listed entity, a reputed company. So the bank will say, okay, I'll discount this invoice. Now this invoice, which is receivable after 90 days, I get the money today itself. So the invoice has happened on, say, 1st of March. and I am discounting on today, 21st of March. So 21 days is already gone. So balance 90 minus 21, I will discount it, but I may discount it further 10 days as a backup plan for me, because there could be a delay of 1 or 2 days the other side. So I discount it on a higher side, and the listed entity may pay, instead of on 90th day, it may pay on say 80th day itself. In that kind of a scenario, the balance 10 days plus the buffer days have to be refunded. So that can also be a excess revenue recognition. Verify revenue audit reports, concurrent audit reports for revenue leakage, because they have specific reason, and revenue audit is only for that purpose, and concurrent auditors would have mentioned that there is revenue leakage. Test check some few deposits, borrow account for current data entry, parameter settings in the software. And if it is CBS branches, almost everything is a CBS branch now. Broken period interest, you have to look into it. Invariably, this broken period interest is done by the head office. Then you should have noted down that it is done at the head office. You have to do analysis, ratio analysis or data analysis between the divergent trends between income and expenditure has to be studied. My advances has increased, or my interest income has increased because the rate of interest has gone up, or the other vice versa. You have to look into it. And if there are large variances, you should have discussed with the management and got the return submissions from them against that. And that is what is the management letter for the. How many of you check the data which is given? What is CBS, sir? Core banking solution. What is core banking solution? It is a database where the data is stored in tables, zeros and ones. And the other software goes and pick up the tables which are required. Now, when the data are coming out, like you have a input device, you have an output device. Your output device is your file. Your input device is your CBS, core banking solution, and the data is pulled out. When the data is pulled out from core banking solution and given to the output device, in between, I can write a batch file and change the data. It is possible. So whenever you get a data in a bank audit, or for that matter, any audit, you have to validate the data. You have to check the data whether you can rely on that data or not. Take, for example, if the data is coming out of a SAP software or a Tally software, do not believe the data as is where is. You should do your check, your own check. If there is a trial balance, opening, closing, opening, debit, credit, closing. Opening, the sum total of opening should be 0. Sum total of closing should be 0. In case of a Tally, you may say it is coming with debit. There are methods in which the export can happen with the negative positive figures as it comes in SAP or a software like core banking solution where they give a report. So the data has to be checked, data has to be converted, because what they do is they give you in a notepad file. You should convert into Excel and try to validate the data before you go accepting the data. I think with this I'll try to close it. I'll share the PPT if anyone wants to look at it, or any specific questions we will answer.
Yes, I will unmute everyone. Just give me a minute, sir. Yes, anyone who has doubts, you can unmute yourself. Anyone who has doubts.
Sir,
Just before I go
times-
into it, the Ghosh-Jilani committee report, there's a prescribed illustrative certificate to be issued by the statutory auditors to the bank over and above the Ghosh-Jilani report which you sign.
Yes. Now anyone can ask the doubts. Somebody was asking earlier. Hare Krishna ji.
yes, sir. Many times recovery in NPA accounts or accounts in which settlement has been effected, they are parking part fund received in parking account. Can you please elaborate how we can report in LFAR?
See, if they are parking in the separate parking account, that will also be grouped under the NPA recovery account itself. So when I have a NPA movement, in that I will say that this is the recovery which I have done, which I am not adjusting because of there should be a reason why I am not adjusting, because there will be a negotiation which is going around. I am not accepting what is that the party is paying. So in LFAR, you have to highlight saying that there is a column for NPA movement. There you have to report saying that there is a recovery, but it has been parked under the recovery account instead of the respective account in which the NPA is there.
Okay. And pay order issued which have not been presented for more than 10 years. Is it available? Is it eligible for DEF? Na?
Is a stale, no? Once a pay order which is
Which has not been presented so far.
That's all. That has become stale now. The validity of the pay order is gone. So once the pay order validity is gone, it has to be reported, it has to be taken, it has to be paid back to the person who took the pay order.
But sir, earlier actually few amounts, many times pay order to be given with the application with say government offices. People
Correct.
give to the government office never deposit those account, and because
I
of
understand.
few,
I understand that. So if the pay order, what is the process by which a pay order has to be cancelled? I have to bring back the original and give back to the bank and with a request letter. Correct?
Yes.
So once it has become stale, there should have been alternate procedure to be done, like an affidavit to be taken in case there is any liability coming because of this, and based on that, the procedure should be done. Alternatively, this should be taken as income otherwise, because you are not going to give back to the person who has taken, then you have to take it as your income. You cannot keep it in suspense account for long.
No, my question is different, sir. Is it possible to take it as an income?
If no one is coming and claiming it, what do you do?
But actually, what I feel that it should be a part of DEF. It should be transferred to DEF fund. According to me, I may be wrong.
Because
This
it is
is
not
the
a
question.
deposit.
Can we take it as income, or should it be transferred to DEF?
Because it will
Depositor
not go to
education
DEF
and
because it is not relating to a deposit.
okay. Yes, sir.
It is not, because it is not a deposit, so it cannot be taken there. It has to be taken as income, and in case in future they come and claim it, you have to take it as an expenditure.
Okay.
Good evening, Uttam ji. This
Good
is
evening.
Gautam from Hyderabad. Actually, you were speaking about broken interest period. Can you elaborate on that?
See, what happens is whenever if you try to understand, or when you try to do the interest calculation of any borrower, they don't do it up to the month end. They don't do it up to the month end. What they do is they do a cycle, which is 26th or 27th. Invariably, 25th, 26th, 27th is the date up to which they calculate interest and charge the account. So balance 5 days is not charged in that month, it is charged in the subsequent. So that's the reason why when you calculate interest and what is bank charge, there will be small differences which is coming, which you think that is not material, leave it. But when from the bank side, this will be a longer period, and that's the reason why they call it as a broken period interest. Even SB account interest, and they pass one bulk entry at the head office. They don't do it at the branch level.
Thank you.
Any more doubts?
Broken period interest, I have done it. There's one question in the chat box which is relating to Mr. Verma, where to report when this excess interest, short interest, if they are material, then you will pass a MOC. If they are not material, because materiality would have been communicated to you by the central statutory auditors, and this amount you may not be even be able to compute within that short period in which you are doing the audit. In that scenario, you say that you are not able to actually come out, but you give an example. One example you give, there may be such more scenarios which are there. I'm again repeating, when I do a bill discounting, I may take more amount than what is required to be done. Similarly, I would have done it for the entire period, but the payment comes 3 days early, 5 days early. In that scenario, for 5 days, I have to return the interest because I cannot enrich myself at the cost of the borrower. So in that scenario, there may be some systems issue, controls issue in the system which you have to highlight. Broken period interest, I explained it. Okay, you are not able to hear. The broken period interest, the interest calculation in a banking industry for an advance is not based on the entire month, because I have to calculate and debit it on 30th evening. So I cannot look at the entire month. So I follow something called cycle, which is from a particular date to a particular date. So it will be from, normally the cycle ends on 25th, 26th or 27th, as the case may be. Bank to bank, it depends. In that scenario, on 31st March, I would have charged interest only up to 25th March or 26th March or 27th March, as the case may be. For the balance 5, 6 or 4 days or 3 days, I will do a calculation called broken period interest. At the head office level, we pass the entry. Hope it is clear.
Yes, thank you, Uttam ji.
Any more doubts? No. Okay, so we'll wind up. PPT I will share in the groups also. Those who are not a part of the group, you can join the group. I have given the link. Once again, I will give the link. Every detail and everything will be shared there. I've given the link once again. Okay, so sir, it was really beautiful session and so many doubts you have solved. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Anyone else who wants to say anything? Anyone else who wants to say anything? Okay. There are in the chat, sir. So everybody is very happy with the session and very insightful. Actually, it was very insightful. Small details you have covered and so many doubts. Mainly, there are many doubts which stays because we read the materials and see the things. But unless the doubts stay, someone clears the doubt, then there are issues. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll wind up, everyone. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Lokesh bhai, for the opportunity.
Sir, it is my pleasure, sir. It is my pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Good night, everyone. Recordings we will upload very soon. I have given the link so that you can join the group. Okay, we'll wind up. Thank you, everyone, for joining on Saturday. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, the speaker also, Uttam sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right.
మాట్లాడచ్చా వద్దా అయిపోయింది